Hey, welcome to today's shave. This is a nice and shiny Gillette Ranger Tech. It's very much like the 40s style super speeds, but it's got a shiny little band right here. It makes it pretty easy to tell apart from the normal 40s super speeds. Shaves really well. I don't know that it actually shaves differently from the super speed equivalent, which also shaves nicely for me. This one I got used off eBay, shined it up a little bit, and has a tiny bit of brassing, right there, but that shouldn't impact the shave at all. It's a little bit rare, and I got it off eBay. The 2000 from Semogue is today's brush. I'm going to step back now that I've kind of enjoyed my badgers for a while. I'm going to get back into my fun with my boar brushes. I think most of them, the 7 that I'm kind of bringing up together, are at about use number 16 or so. So this is number 17 for this brush, I believe. Today's blade is a Gillette Platinum and looks like it's been used about 13 times. The soap for today is a new base to me. Their Rust Belt Reserve line that they have is what they're calling a premium base for them. Shannon's soaps. And it is a tallow soap. Smells pretty good. This is their kind of version of a fougere, which is a mix that usually has a floral top that you smell right away, and then it's grounded and based with something woody at the bottom in terms of the scent notes. And I believe Coumarin might be a typical ingredient in a fougere, and this does have Coumarin. For the floral, it's going to use lavender. Then it's got the Coumarin, a little bit of Oakmoss there, and Bergamot, which is the citrus. And then Sandalwood. Those are the main notes that that Try This Soap had for this one. So we're going to stick the Platinum blade, and this is one I'm going to marathon, so I'll put an M on it. Not too many uses on it right now. But there we go. And I believe this soap might be brand new, as in untouched, because it sure kind of looks like it. I think it smells nice. I think it does probably a good version of a fougere. Faithful to the theme, to the idea of it. And then just, smells good. So let's put it together here. A little water on my face. I did try Shannon's soaps before. I don't think it was this Rust Belt line. My research indicated that the Rust Belt Reserve is a more premium line for them. Shake out most of the water here. Didn't usually do the 1 hour soak that I have been doing with these boars that I'm kind of all bringing up together. More like a 7-minute soak. Should still be fine because this one's kind of broken in mostly anyway. All right, so let's do a 30-minute, 30-second load. Looks like this one has been rolled around in somebody's collection for a while with that top label showing just some wear, but then when you open up the soap it doesn't look like it. That's 30 seconds. Yeah, looks like a nice early creamy lather, so very cool. Make sure that no The soap lather is in the threads there. Put it to the side. All right. Haven't tried this soap base. I heard good things about Shannon soaps, but I tried one a month or two ago and I wasn't really too impressed. Maybe this base is a big performance increase. Citrus is starting to come out a little bit more now that it's gotten wet. Can I smell the sandalwood? Maybe. Watching to see how this lather's reacting to this kind of entry-level mixing before I start adding water. See how it takes 1 teaspoon of soap. Because the fougères are often anchored in a woody note, and maybe the coumarin isn't all that of much of a feminine scent. Obviously, sometimes the florals that they'll put in a fougère are distinctly feminine. And I'm going on the premise that there are such things as kind of feminine scents, and there are definitely other shavers out there who would argue with me on that, and that's all right. I think lavender's nice as a component. There are definitely other fougères out there that I've tried that are very feminine, and there are some that aren't. I think Philip's Fougère reminds me, is one from Black Ship Grooming. I think I made a mental note that said that if I ever wanted a fougère, that's a good one. Well, it doesn't look awesome. We got some micro bubbles going on. It doesn't have too much of a sheen, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, I believe. It's just kind of feels maybe... Yeah, that's super thin. Okay, since this is an older soap, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to the soap tub for another 30 seconds. Because I went through this the other day with Mickey Lee Souk. And I should have just gone back for a lot longer. So, let me just get my brush a little more wet. And let's do another 30. Oh, 30 rolled around just there on the clock, so let's go right in it. And if we have too much lather, we have too much, but at least we're not likely to have to go back to the puck. So that's 15. So by the end of this, we'll have a whole minute of loading time for this particular soap. 2 more seconds. There we go. All right. I think a lot of fougères are really nice, kind of in the summer, but you know, I think they also work in the winter too, because you've got that kind of the woody base. It's not overtly light. So I think it's kind of an all season, you know, kind of scent. Sometimes it's a little zesty, so if you're a morning shaver and you depend on your shave to kind of help you wake up, then maybe a fougère might be a good thing to try. Let's see if that thickens the lather up a little bit. So now it looks like 1.5 teaspoons of water. Probably a little bit more though, since I added some to the brush right before I loaded for the second time. Kind of has a better sound to it. That's better, yeah. Kind of will break up some of the oils on my face a little bit, kind of as a pre-shave. Just want to get a good mix. I believe I'm not going to add any more water after this. All right, let's take a look at it. So you definitely see some bubbles there. I could work them out a little bit more, but I'm not going to. It's late and I want to get to bed. All right. It's been a while since I used my Boar brushes. Go back and get a little bit more lather. I find that I need more lather on the first pass. You don't need nearly as much on the future ones. I love my soft badgers, silver tips and things like that, but I definitely enjoy the boars as well. Kind of a massagey feel. And this is one of my favorites. Now, usually when I end up flinging tiny wet pieces around, and that's a sign that maybe it's too wet a lather or it's not mixed properly. So we'll see. All right, platinum. Yeah, looks like it's working really well. The lather might be a little too wet, but it's shaving all right. You get a little bit of blade chatter. Yeah, this is a wet lather. Sometimes when your razor kind of skips across your face, then you know it's a little wet. So here's something you can do about that. Take the existing lather that I have here in the bowl, kind of load it up like normal. Put it on your face. This time I'm not rinsing with water. I probably should have, but okay. So you kind of put that on your face, then you go back to the puck for a little bit. Just a second or two. then you start working that into your face. And since I didn't rinse, my face probably should have started out a little bit more moist for this. The scent on this is nice and present during the shave. It's refreshing. Not refreshing as the scent is refreshing, but I mean it actually kind of is. But what I meant is that it's nice to see a soap maker put a nice strong scent in their soap. Yeah, see, this is thicker. Try it out. A little bit better glide. I think this razor is probably a little more aggressive than the 40 style. It's not too aggressive to me. Get some of this lather in my goatee and kind of do a little quick touch up in that area, keeping it light so as not to bring up irritation. And let's do a rinse this time. All right, so this soap base, I like it. Nice, slick, feels the slickness of the lather, the type of slickness that it is kind of a nice fatty buttery that you often get with tallow soaps, and I enjoyed it. This does smell similar to some of the other fougères I've tried, like probably the what was the one that popped into my mind just now? Ah, yeah, the fougère from Henri and Victoria. So, and theirs is a vegan formula. They did come out with a recent tallow soap base, and so I bet they make that in the tallow as well. Very similar, I think. This is a very capable little razor. And who knows, maybe a younger platinum blade would be even nicer. But this is like the 14th use of this one. A lot of people might have thrown it away by now. It's shaving me very nicely. See that skipping? Probably dry down this lather just a little bit more and have a creamier feel. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way it went. A lot of times first tries aren't perfect, you know. And rinse. So I'd say during the shave, we're talking about maybe a 6 out of 10 in terms of scent strength. I enjoyed that. This isn't one of my favorite types of scents, and this didn't really change that genre too much for me, but it was enjoyable. I like it. I mean, if I had this on a desert island, I would enjoy it and have a good time shaving. And yeah, I think there's definitely a time where I could see myself, every once in a while, saying, hey, let's whip out a fougere. And this is a good one, just as good one as any to do. And I do like the base for this. What do they say? Rust Belt Reserve? Yeah, is the kind of the more premium base for Shannon's soaps, apparently. Rust Belt Reserve. And I would show you the ingredients list, but the person who had it before me put a little label over it, and so unfortunately I can't read that part. But this one is the tallow soap. It's a little on the pricey side. This one is currently available online. They've updated the label, but the scent and that the base Rust Belt Reserve is still a current product of theirs, even though this particular one looks older. And I think it was about $18. And to me, you've got to be able to compete with Stirling in this kind of arena. I don't necessarily feel like this is a premium soap, higher than, too much higher than Stirling. And so with Stirling being $5 less for more product, I think Stirling maybe beats it out. And so the only exception might be if Stirling doesn't offer a fougere. That's an interesting idea. I wonder if they do. I wonder if they don't. Huh. Might have to check that out and see. Anyway, a little bit of lather left. It's kind of thin. But it looks like this soap is capable of generating a very nice lather. I didn't quite immediately dial it in this time, but that's what other shaves are for, I guess. And this 2000 brush worked just fine, worked great. Continue to be really happy with it. The Ranger Tech had a little bit of vocalization, maybe scrapiness to it, but it didn't really transfer too much in terms of feel. It was mainly just audio. Let's kind of take a look at it here. One thing to check with new to you razors is just kind of looking across at the gap to make sure it's even, so that maybe it hasn't been dropped and some of these doors bent, so that it would not clamp down properly all across the width of the blade. Check those kind of things. Looks like this one did just fine, and I'm sure he's willing to have more and other blades put in him for sure if we want to do that. Probably 2 teaspoons of water was added to make this lather. A minute of loading, 2 teaspoons of water. So it's not super thirsty soap. So that was a nice shave. That one's been in my to try box for, I got it in as a part of a lot purchase and put it in my haven't yet tried it box, and it's been there for several months now. So I'm glad to get around to it. And it's kind of restored the performance of Shannon's soap in my eyes, at least, because that first one I tried just wasn't quite as good. So there we go. Time for me to go to bed. Hope this has been good for you. Hope there's been something here that has helped you out. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.